From the Greenroom Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Hey, y'all, it's Caroline Gant.
Hey, y'all, it's Austin Lowen.
And Tyler Blankenship.
And hey, what a week. It's birthday week for Caroline. Hey, your birthday's tomorrow. How does it feel to turn 58?
It feels great to be 58. Well, I guess I'm not 58 yet. I'm 57.
Oh, okay.
Soon to be 58.
Sorry, I was a year off.
You know, I still feel like I'm 37, about to be 38. It's crazy.
I tell you, you just still feeling young out there. It's
Still
all that,
feeling young.
all them holes you've been digging, I guess. Keeping you young.
You keep gardening, you're going to age backwards. I'm telling you what.
Well, good. Well, how does it feel? Are you excited?
About being 68?
Yeah, 68 now.
I am.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, good. We have to come up with something to get you, I guess. We've talked about this before, but
It better
we give
be good.
plant gifts for birthday people here at work, and you are no exception. We got to find something.
I have gotten so many great presents. I got a mock orange from you, I think last year.
Yeah.
I think that was your present last year. That one was a good one. A bunch of y'all gave me boxwoods one year, which I have. There are 5 of you, 5 landscape specialists that I got boxwoods from, named Shannon, Ben, Tyler, Kev, aka Austin, and Adam.
Yeah.
Shannon died, replaced him, and he died again.
Shannon.
And then Ben got weed whacked by my husband. But he's growing.
that.
He's a lot smaller. But you, Tyler, and Adam, which oddly enough are the 3 personalities that are on this show the most on the podcast, are alive and well.
We're the shining stars
You're
of the
the
box.
shining stars. You're actually the 3 that are framing one of my tree form hydrangeas. So it was good that the 2 outsiders, Shannon and Ben, were the ones that either died or got whacked.
Okay.
But yeah, the 3 of you look fantastic. Very uniformed. They're green velvet boxwoods. They look great.
The goat, the green velvet boxwood. Speaking of boxwood this year, it's been a really pretty boxwood flush season.
Oh, it has been.
I had a buddy over last night, and he was looking at him, and he was like, what are those shrubs? He don't know anything about shrubs, you know. He has some hollies planted out in front of his house, and he was asking me about those. I'm like, you certainly need to rip those out if you can. And he was like, I like those. What are those? I'm like, that's boxwood, man. Nobody knows they like boxwood till they see boxwood, and then they're like, oh, I do like that.
What is that?
But it's been a great flush year for the boxwoods, who are still showing their 2-tone color, which we all love. And they've been really nice, pretty disease-free this year. We have not seen our first round of insects too much yet here in the mid-state. So that's very nice.
I'm sure they're coming, though.
Oh, they're coming for sure, Caroline. They're definitely coming. But,
Yeah, those Japanese beetles will be here soon.
well, yeah, they're on their way, but we have a while for those. But I'm mainly thinking about those other ones. Oof. Mainly what I'm thinking about right now
What?
is roses. Okay, we talked about roses on the show a little bit, but there is a nasty insect pest, the sawfly larvae. Tyler, you know about the sawfly larvae, man.
I'm not
I do.
ready.
What you doing over there, Tyler? We ain't even heard your voice yet.
I'm pressing buttons. We got a new board because we haven't even discussed this yet. But
Well, maybe we should
We
so we
should.
don't leave our listeners
Yeah.
wondering.
Yeah.
we suffered a lightning strike.
It was crazy here at the nursery. Scared everybody.
It was.
Oh man, it scared me to death. I jumped onto a customer.
You had him hold you?
Did you?
Yeah,
Now.
I jumped into his arms. It was so scary, y'all. That lightning flash and the thunder hit at the exact same time. So
Yep.
you know that was close. And it was like,
Had to have been right over us.
it was intense, and it just wrecked our stuff,
Our
Tyler.
whole system.
Yep.
Our registers went down immediately. And then all of the stuff in the green room where we do our shows, where we record our audio, was just
It was sneaky. It zapped our mixer, just the USB output, which we use to transfer the live audio to the show and also record this podcast. And it was, we had already started the show, and then there was no audio, and all of a sudden, oh no, it's not coming up no matter what I do, no matter how many different cables I try.
Yeah, you were a madman working. So that being said, everybody, this week's podcast is the sound is not as clear as usual. You can still hear us just fine, but you will notice that the audio is not up to par. But
No, it's
with
not.
every crazy event that happens, there is light behind it, and Tyler gets to get fancy with new stuff over there. Earlier, we were in here trying to make all the sound happen and stuff, and Tyler's over there pushing all these
Testing.
fun buttons. Tyler, give him just at least one fun button. Can you do that? Like, One of the new noises or something. You're like a radio
Let 'em
DJ
hear it.
over there.
Like
Do something fun.
like
man.
this.
I bet you're really excited that we now have that button.
I'm so excited.
Or maybe this. Just that didn't do anything. Just kidding.
Tyler. He's still working out the
Or
kinks,
maybe
y'all.
this button.
Yeah, I think I've tweaked some things a little too much.
Well, and we have audio effects, sound effects for our voices,
Yeah,
which
that's-
is very exciting.
That is very exciting. We can have some sort of monster voice or whatever.
I've also got this.
Nope.
Oh, you can
Yeah.
you can bleep us when we. That's good. That is good.
I
So-
can't wait for you to use that on Josh. And not
Tyler.
me. You quit it right now.
Yeah. So anyway, Tyler's in heaven over there with his new fancy board, but I'm happy for that. So
I am too.
anyway, what about plants? What's going on with plants right now? What do y'all? What's happening?
So much is happening. So much is growing.
So much you can't
blooming.
even.
I can't even think about what's going on.
I can.
I put in more raised beds. So my gardening life right now has been filling them, how I fill them, and then planting stuff.
Nice, very good. Tyler, you?
Yeah. I've been weeding again. I've been trying to keep ahead of the weeds because all of the new things that I've established, the weeds are already creeping in. And
Yeah.
speaking of creeping, my creeping time has maybe tripled in size already since I planted it
When did you plant it?
just a month ago.
Nice.
Wow.
Been great weather for anything you plant this
It's
spring.
getting
Like,
really
oh,
fluffy.
Yeah.
And now the two individual ones, 4-inch ones that I've planted have grown together.
Nice.
They're making mounds.
And that's what you want.
Yeah. But I removed all of the pine straw mulch that I had there. So now it's a little bit naked. And in those naked places that haven't been covered up yet, I'm getting like nutsedge,
Yuck.
which is a very yucky weed.
Gross.
And I'm also, funny enough, my passion flower vine, when I planted it, it was at the back side of my yard. And now it only comes up in the side yard bed.
Really? It made its way all the way over.
Yeah. So there's like
traveling.
6 different passion flower shoots in this one bed too. But I'm kind of leaving them,
Yeah.
I might let them just kind of be background in front of the switchgrass.
Okay. Well, just let them be.
Yeah. But that's just one area, y'all. Also, I don't know if I talked about, I made a new mixed container.
Yeah, okay.
I've got this Bewitched After Midnight black sweet potato vine. It's a proven winner's variety
Nice.
that I planted in front. I planted a nice white calamint in the middle, perennial, and in the back, a black and blue salvia.
Look
Oh,
at you.
that's nice. That's a nice color combo. You sent us a picture of that the other day.
I
which
did.
I think you, or I guess I should put it up on the Instagram page for everybody to see and
Yeah.
the Facebook. You can resend if you're not okay with that one.
Yeah, no.
But you know, the people listening right now, they're going to want to see it.
Yeah, I wish the sage was bigger. It was a 4-inch, and then it was a 1-gallon calamint. So the calamint's stealing the show right now.
But that stuff grows like crazy.
It will
It'll get
even
up there.
up once we get warm.
Oh, yeah. Salvia's getting ready to explode.
Yeah.
That black and blue is really pretty, too. I really like that plant.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of people coming in looking for that one specifically.
It gets big. It's
I haven't
real
grown
big.
that one. I almost bought one, but then I didn't.
Well, it is a good plant. So good work, Tyler. Glad
Proud
your
of
mixed
you.
container's good. My mixed container is really taking root, y'all. It is a swelly old thing.
Mine has too. It's grown a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm a little behind you as far as planting goes. I think I planted mine like 2 weeks after you.
Can
Yeah.
you take us a progress photo, Austin?
I certainly will. I certainly will.
I want to see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will. I'll
Let's
let you
get
see that.
Progress photos for everybody.
Let's do it. And speaking of, this year in particular, like we're here in Nashville, Tennessee, just so you know, but we have been so rainy and just warm, weathery, but not like crazy warm and hot. It is the lushest spring I've seen in a while, I think. And that's
Yeah.
not just coming from me. That's coming from all of our guests that we see coming out to the nursery. I ask every one of the regulars that I talk to about their plants, I'm just like, how's your garden looking this spring? They're like, oh my God, it has been the best spring ever. And like, that's no joke. It's beautiful in Nashville right now.
Yeah, there's so much. Well, I've planted so much like over the winter and early spring that I put in the ground. I don't even have to worry about checking to see if they need water. It's great. And all the stuff I still have on my driveway to plant, Haven't had to pull out the hose.
Yeah, I haven't done it much. I mean, we got a few 1 gallon hydrangeas the other day because they were a good deal for a good price. By the way, what did we get? It was
3.
a vanilla strawberry.
Vanilla strawberry hydrangea.
Ooh, a
I have
pinnacle style.
always wanted those like ones that get real pink, and that one looks like it gets very, very pink.
It does, and it also has just a very big bloom on it. I mean, just huge. And the stems seem to be sturdy. It's a vigorous growing plant. It can handle full sun all day. The vanilla strawberry pinnacle hydrangea, y'all. What a cool plant. And we got them for
Me
little
too.
1 gallons. Cheap.
Little tiny 1 gallons, like $24.99, I think. Like you cannot beat that. And a lot of folks, let's talk about hydrangeas for a minute because we've been so busy. I've been out on the lot helping people, and so many people want to get hydrangeas. But then they say to me, I really want a hydrangea, but it's full sun and I know they'll get roasted. And I'm like, well, boy, do I have the hydrangea for you.
Yes, not the case at all.
Those pinnacle hydrangeas, all of them. I mean, full sun all day. Mine, I have limelight just planted not on my house, but like right up against my white house that reflects sun. It gets really hot. I mean, from sunup to sundown, roasted all day. And even like towards the end of summer when everything starts to get tired, the leaves still look great. Now the blooms, like once they bloom out, like any plant will start to kind of brown a little bit, but that's typical.
Yeah. But no, you're totally right. I mean, here at the nursery, we keep our pinnacle hydrangeas out in the full sun on asphalt, all day long.
I mean, we can't stay out there for very long in the middle of summer because it gets too hot, but these hydrangeas are loving every second of it.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you keep them moist, at least through the first season, get them through your first summer. Once you do that and they latch into the earth, like you do not have to add too much water to those as they age. So,
No, you don't.
And there's like 25 varieties nowadays of what you could get. They're coming out with new stuff all the time. So
Big ones, little ones, pure white.
Speaking of hydrangea, it is about to be hydrangea season. Tyler, I know you've got oak leaf hydrangea probably blooming at your house right now, which is always the first one to go. And I've got I've got blue billows, which is a serrata, and I've also got that new one that I got, that heartthrob.
Oh,
Boy,
you
she's
needed
a heart.
that one.
Oh man,
Yeah,
if anybody,
you did.
I needed that heartthrob. That
It's
thing
Kev.
is budded up. The blue billows are budded up. My Incredible is budded up, and Quickfire Treeform budded up. Y'all, it's about to be hydrangea go time.
It's about to be popping. I planted a macrophylla hydrangea. We got those in. I don't know if you guys remember this, but like in 2021, there was a shipment of like florist hydrangeas that went to a big box store and they rejected them. And so somebody contacted us and we were like, yeah, bring them. And we just sold them for really cheap. And I bought like 3 or 4. And I was thinking like, well, if they don't take, if they're not hardy here, then I at least have these nice cut flowers for cheaper than they would be at the store. This is the first year. They've grown every year, but I've never gotten blooms. One of them is full of buds.
Nice.
I am so excited. I saw that a couple days ago, and I never thought it would bloom. They come up every year. It's just foliage. It gets like 3 foot tall, and then it dies all the way back to the ground.
Yep. And that's Tyler. Tyler, you're pushing.
Tyler,
I didn't
you
mean to do
muted
that.
Austin.
No, I didn't mean to do that.
We're keeping this audio in for the show. I can't believe you.
Are you?
I'm
There,
back.
he's back.
We were
He's
talking
back.
about hydrangeas and you muted me. Oh my gosh.
That's the other than roses.
That's sin.
That is
was
the
an
biggest
accident.
sin ever.
I was tweaking. I was not. I did not mean to mute.
You were tweaking, not messing.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Tyler. It's you have a new thing over there. I get it. You're excited. You're
excited.
tweaking over there.
I'm trying to make you sound better.
Thanks.
All of
Tyler.
us.
I mean, we always sound great. Well, except for this, what you'll hear soon, listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry, Tyler.
But
It was a
when we-
lightning strike.
It was, yeah. Wild. It was
I'm
going
gonna
to
find that lightning and I'm gonna make it apologize.
Yeah.
to all of
that
us.
energy.
The poor cashiers that they had to deal with so much that day.
Oh
They
yeah, it
all-
didn't stop.
They're all great.
Yeah, that was a big day.
Amazing. Yeah.
But Caroline, I think you just made a great point before we got sidetracked a little, and that is on your macrophylla hydrangeas, and that is if we do have nasty winters, if we do have late frost in the spring, if those old stems do not produce leaves on the stems, they will not bloom that year.
Right.
And what's more annoying than a hydrangea that doesn't bloom?
Nothing.
Nothing's more annoying than that.
Tyler cutting your audio.
That's pretty annoying.
Just kidding.
even take
I'm kidding,
that.
Tyler.
I will take that over a hydrangea not blooming in the summer. So I am very happy that you have leaves coming out on your stems this year, in which mine is, like I said, my macrophylla and my serrata, both the same way. They leaf out and bloom off of old wood, and they are doing it this year, so their buds are certainly present, and it's going to be a great
You're
one.
going to be so giddy when all of those start opening. Now, is the heartthrob that you have the macrophylla?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And hence the name macrophylla, big
Big leaves.
foliage. Yes. So the big leaf hydrangeas, And, you know, I think everybody thinks of those probably first. That's those big round blue or pink blooms.
Well, that's what you see in the movies. I feel like they use that for sets all the time.
They do. I think of it as like a Cape Cod thing, like the hydrangeas up in Cape Cod, which they're beautiful up there. They're really, really nice. You know, and it's really not necessarily how cold our winters get. It's really our wake up in the spring. So, you know, if they're leafing out from the sticks, that's cool. But then we get late frost and they're easily whacked.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it's just awful. But not this year.
It's just terrible.
It really is. Not this year. And then let's move on to the different species. The arborescens. Mine is Incredible. You're probably more familiar with Annabelle. Those bloom off old and new wood. So mine are beef sticks this year.
I saw a picture and I was like, this isn't from this year, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
It was.
Oh, it's from this year.
Huge. How tall are they already?
They're already approaching 5, and they are starting to get their buds full set this year. It's going to be a fantastic year for really all species of hydrangea.
It's going to be a good one, unless we could still get a late freeze.
No.
It's late for that, but it has happened.
Yeah, it's getting late for
I
a
don't
frost.
think it will.
No.
It would be heartbreaking if it did.
Yeah.
I think what we just had was our little cool down right before Mother's Day, you know?
Yeah.
The blackberry winter.
Yeah, 'cause
Maybe?
the blackberries are in full bloom right now. And what people usually refer to that the blackberry winter is when they're in full bloom, and then we do get a frost, and then you don't get any fruit for that year. Well, that's not going to be the case this year. Blackberries are full show around town, everywhere. They are in my yard like crazy.
Oh, back on my property is lit up.
You know what I was
with
thinking
blooms
about?
right now.
What do y'all think? This is just an experiment I think I'm going to do with my kids. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to cut these blackberry stems that are full bloom right now, bring them in the house for a pretty little beautiful arrangement. And then do you think they would finish in fruit if you just cut stems? What do y'all think?
Oh, I don't know if they would have that much energy.
Yeah.
Because they're already
Seems
on
like it
such
would
a long
take a
cane.
ton.
Yeah, I mean,
Certainly worth a shot. An
I think
experiment.
you should do it.
I'm definitely thinking about doing
What
it.
if it did? That'd be crazy.
If it did, that'd be super cute. You have sticks with, you know, thorny foliage stuff, but then
And then it makes
white
little
blooms,
berries.
and then it makes berries dangling off of that. I'm all about that.
I think you should be.
I got a feeling it's not going to work, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to let you know.
try it. You might be shocked.
Well, that's the great
You might
thing about
shock all
gardening.
of us.
The great thing about gardening is that we have to experiment to see what's going to work. If you don't try it, then you don't know.
Then you don't know. You haven't learned anything.
So you got to try. All right. And
That's what I
plus,
tell people all the time.
well, you know what's going to happen with those blackberries? They're going to root. You keep them in a vase long enough, like you cut off some of the lower leaves, like those, you know, blackberries are going to root in that. And then you got some rooted cuttings. Even if it doesn't fruit, you still got cuttings you can place elsewhere.
Yeah, and those blackberries we both have are wild.
They're just in wild, rambling blackberries. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've got them everywhere, but usually the birds and the deer beat me to harvesting many of them.
Yeah. Well, the good thing with blackberries in our scenario is that we have strength in numbers. So, you know, even if the birds and big deer get some, they're not going to get them all.
No, that's true. Mine is also like back behind everything, so I never think about them until it's too late. Then I'm like, I wonder if there's blackberries back there. And I go back and I'm like, oh, there's none left. They got them all.
So like 2 years ago, I cut down my Natchez blackberry that was growing in this little garden bed for years. It was very productive. And my Jella that I planted pretty much in the same spot has finished blooming. And so I pruned that back because I forgot to prune it in the winter. So finished blooming. I wanted to take it back a lot because it was getting really leggy, but the bloom was beautiful. Anyway, in the middle of that, when I cut it back, was a Natchez blackberry. It's like, hey,
Hi.
I didn't go nowhere, buddy.
I'm still here.
That's so funny. We were just talking to a guest yesterday. Old gal I went to high school with, actually. Old Caitlin, who listens to this sometimes. She was out here yesterday, and she had asked us a question about her blackberry that was close to her house. And I told her, just if you don't want it, you got to get it out of there, and it's coming back. And like Tyler,
Well, she says it's running though. It's running
running.
away from the house, which is what she wants. Yeah.
But yeah, I told her, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
once you got a blackberry, you're almost married to it.
Yeah. There's
Like-
quite a few plants I'm married to at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, plants are better than us. They just keep on living.
They
Yeah,
do.
I
They
dug
survive.
up a black raspberry from my front bed when I was removing a bunch of plants from there. And there's already other ones that have sprouted in the bed, like around where it was. And like, you know, the one that I have is like 8 feet long.
Oh.
Like the cane.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
And it's about to fruit. It's just looking gnarly, looking crazy.
that's what they do. Mama at her house has the same problem. I gave her some raspberries last year. She put them in the wrong place. Wrong place.
Uh-oh, Mama.
Right next to the side door heading out to the pool. Trying to grab you every time you go in.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
So she got out there. She was working. She got down hands and knees. She was out there working, digging up those raspberries. She dug them up over the winter. And what do we have now? About 20 raspberries popping back up.
That's kind of what happens. If you dig up like what I call the mother plant, like the big plant that you originally plant, I've done that with so many things. And I'm like, good, I'm rid of it. No, you're not. You just made it reproduce like crazy in order to survive.
You just made it mad.
Yeah.
That's what you did. You
It
cut
was
that
like,
mother.
I'm going to make so many babies as you pull me
Yeah.
out of the ground.
That's right. You cut that mother and then baby's coming up.
Yeah, they're looking for her.
That's right. Speaking of mothers, y'all, it's Mother's Day weekend. Shout out to all our moms.
Yes, happy Mother's Day, Cher.
Happy Mother's Day,
And
Sue.
Lynn.
And Shirley.
And Shirley, our mothers who are fantastic women.
Yes.
And all you mothers out there that are doing it, you're all great. And if you're gardening at the same time, it's just, get your kids out there with you. It's a lot of fun. But speaking of that, we got to think about Mother's Day gifts, y'all. It's Caroline's birthday. I mean, we got to get her a gift, but then after that, we got to get the moms a gift. So
Yep.
what to choose? Right now, you could almost literally choose anything. But I mean, what are some of the biggest ones? Roses, for sure. I'm trying to get rid of some of these roses we got out here just because not because I want to get rid of them because I care about making a sale or something. I want to get rid of them because I want you to see the beauty.
They're beautiful. If you have not been out here to see the roses that we have currently on the sales floor at Bates Nursery, get on
floor.
out here. It made us sound fancy.
On the sales.
On the asphalt. Come on out.
Sound like a mattress mogul or something.
Not far off from Caroline's true
Yeah,
personality.
not at all.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so number one rose. What's the next? What do you think? Probably hanging baskets? I would say hanging baskets.
Blooming annual hanging baskets. That's a big one. And then houseplants.
Yeah.
I help a lot of people looking for presents for their moms for indoors. Mm-hmm. So that's a good one. You can come in, you can get a houseplant. I can help you pick out a pot, and then we can actually pot it up for you here. So
Hey.
you can leave with your houseplant, pot it into a cute little ceramic pot, and then present it to your mother.
That's right.
for
And
Mother's
all
Day.
you guys out there that are totally clueless about what to do, this is a one-stop shop for your mom this time of year, right before Mother's Day. Like literally just come out, talk to one of us. We know what your mama wants. Trust me.
We do.
And Caroline just nailed it. If you get a houseplant, do not forget the pot.
Don't
the pot
forget
is crucial, people. Okay.
You could also, if you don't know what to get your mom, but you're like, she's very into plants, just get her a gift card here. And then you bring her out here and you go shopping
That is a good idea.
and you let her pick out her own plants.
That's a good idea. And then you be a good son or daughter and you plant that for her.
Yeah.
Mama's
do it.
tired. She needs you to plant it.
I'm a terrible daughter. I bought my parents so many plants and then never planted them. And I'll go over and they're like, when do you think you're going to come plant this tree? Like I got them a crabapple tree and it's huge. Mm-hmm.
Not in the ground?
Not in the ground.
That's okay.
I bought my mom a little 1-gallon Japanese maple years ago. You remember that? Probably 3 years ago. It's getting giant, still not in the ground.
That's okay. Still living its
I'll
best
do it
life.
one day. It is. They're very healthy. My mom is great with plants. She can keep anything alive. It's insane.
Over the past, the show we did, I talked a little bit this last week, y'all hear about ginkgos and how many varieties there are and how cool they are. And my mom listened to the show last week and she was like, Austin, why don't I have a ginkgo? Like, I need a ginkgo.
Oh, I know what you're getting your mom for Valentine's or Mother's Day.
For Mother's Day.
Caroline,
She might be getting a ginkgo.
Caroline did the time warp again.
I did. Happens all the time.
It was funny though. My dad was standing there next to it and he just looked at me and he's like, you got to quit talking about plants on your little podcast.
You can't talk about plants anymore on your plant podcast.
I'm like, Dad, that's like kind of the whole point. But now we got to get Mama a fancy ginkgo, I guess. So
Oh, we've got so many good ones right now.
Super cool.
So is that what you're doing when we get done here? You're going to go out there and pick out a ginkgo?
I might, but I got to get my brother and my sister, my other sister involved in this. Them ginkgos are expensive.
That's true.
gonna
Y'all
get
all
'em to
go in
split
on
it.
it. And then you each take turns digging that hole.
Take turns digging that hole. No, I'll be the one digging that
Pass
hole.
the shovel around in a circle.
That's all right. I'll be happy to plant a ginkgo for Mama because everybody needs a ginkgo. That's for sure.
That's true. Tyler, do you have one?
A ginkgo?
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin got me a
I did.
American.
That was your
one.
birthday present last year.
American.
Yes, American. M-E-R-I-K-E-N,
right.
I
Yeah.
think. American.
American.
That's the one I got. Y'all, I got to get a picture for y'all. Mine has swollen up and it's on a standard, so a little tree form. Y'all, it's exploded this year. This is like 4th year in the ground. And ginkgos are notoriously slow, people. They're not growing fast. Mine this year looks fantastic.
It's Marriken.
Yeah.
American.
There it is.
American.
It's so good.
I've got a slender ginkgo.
Do you?
Yeah. I haven't planted it.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
Well, that's okay as long as they're still living.
We talked about ginkgos on the show.
Good thing about ginkgo is that if you're going to kill one, you do a lot to kill a ginkgo because that plant made it through ice ages, people.
Yep,
If it can make it through an ice age, then it better make it in your yard is all I got to say.
It will make it. I believe David said that some people believe that ginkgos killed the dinosaurs on the show because they've been around for so long.
That's true.
They definitely won that
out.
long game, didn't they?
They beat everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful, beautiful trees.
They are.
But is it time to just go ahead and get into this week's broadcast, Tyler?
I think
Are
it's
we
time.
there?
I think
It's
we're here.
time.
And just one more heads up, the audio is very different from how it normally sounds. You will be able to hear what we're talking about, but it's just not as clear,
Yeah.
not as...
Some guests were like, it's like we're actually in the room with you.
Yeah.
So imagine we're sitting in your car with you, sitting in your kitchen
Roomy
if you're
car.
listening to us while you're cooking. We're out in your garden. We're just hanging out even closer than we typically would be.
That's right.
But we hope you enjoy.
Yes. And happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
You know, if y'all think you think about gardening like crazy, like you certainly do, but it is such an addiction for us. Like, I look at my garden every single night, and I look at the good things, look at the bad things, but I find the spots where I want new things. And I think of 20 new things that I could put in my bed. And I think, well, how do I choose, you know? Working at a place like this is fantastic because you get anything you could ever want, but sometimes
It's too much.
it's too much because there's 8 things you want that you could put in that same hole.
You're kind of an overthinker.
Thanks.
With your plants. You're welcome. Well, maybe not overthinking, but he likes to plan. He likes to put stuff in the ground once, which we all know.
Yes.
So you've been thinking about certain spots
I think
for
that's
years.
endemic around here because we all are constantly thinking about it. If you're talking to Ryan on the line, you're talking about a guy who thinks. Now, that's a guy who's a thinker. Bridget down in Perennials and Celeste, they're thinkers. So that's how we're able to hopefully gain enough insight on the scope of things that are about gardening so that when you come up with whatever your question is, we've probably encountered it before, and we're going to be able to give you an answer.
We think about plants all the time. I was back with Michelle yesterday, who I love. Not that I have a favorite employee, but she's
She's up there.
definitely one of my favorite
Sort of everybody's
coworkers.
Mhm.
But just talking about how it's just so great to work somewhere where you can just talk about plants all day. She said when she started working here for the first time, she came from the medical industry, and she was like, it was my first day. I didn't know how it'd go, and I was helping unload a truck. And I walked in, and everybody was just talking about, like, wow, look at this plant. Like, I've got this in my yard. And she was like, and that's how I know I found my people.
It is. It's really nice to have to work because we do work. Very physical work, y'all,
yeah.
to get all these trucks and everything set for the week.
There was no small amount of frustration earlier in the week. I mean, people were, everyone was going, how are we going to deal with all these plants? I guess we're going to have to sell them to somebody.
Five-pound bag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So but like Caroline just said, like it's so fun to be able to physically work very hard, but actually just enjoy the beauty and talk about the plants and where you want to put them, what you want to do with them, the colors, the everything. Like so, it makes work not so much like work.
Yeah, it makes
It's
it
fun.
fun. It's fun to be here.
It is.
And we don't just
everybody's
imagine things in our own yards. We imagine them for your yard as well. And because, just like you were saying moments ago, we don't have places for all these things in our own yards.
No.
But it's really good creative space for us to be able to look at the photographs you bring in and the conversations we have with you to say, you know what, I got just the thing for that spot.
It's over here. Let's go find it.
Well, yeah, because I don't have a place in my yard, and I wish I did. But Renee has one of these special, Renee being my wife, Renee, she's got this little garden out front, and it's the most beautiful, it's prime right now. It's got roses in it, it's got peonies in it, it's got iris in it, it's got a Japanese maple in a big pot to the side, it's got a catinus, a smoke tree on the other corner, one conifer, golden conifer in there, campsicyprus. And it's just
It
spectacular.
looks amazing. I think she put a video up on her Facebook page the other day because I saw it and I thought she was at a garden. And I was like, wow, look at that. And then I was talking with Sarah the other day,
No,
and she showed me the video, and I was like, oh, that's Renee's garden. It was like a manicured park. Wow, it was incredible. See, I just buy stuff when I see it, and then I find somewhere to put it. I'm opposite than you. You think about your beds, and I just see it, and I'm like, well, I need it. I can put it somewhere.
If I get it home, I'll
and then
have
it's going to sit on my driveway, but not die, hopefully. Well, are we ready to get into questions?
We
We do have a lot. Let's go ahead and we'll just start with crepe myrtle. How do I stop the cycle of aphids on my crepe myrtle?
Cool.
Soapy water has not worked.
Soapy water really only works if you target the insect, and it's kind of hard to get to every single aphid, y'all, with soap. So if you really want to go preventative on this, let's use a little bit more of a stout chemical, okay, to get them kind of taken care of early in the game. All right, now look, crepe myrtle is not blooming, and it's not even thinking about it yet. So we're not hurting bees by doing any spraying. Well, the sprays you are going to use will affect bees if they're out, okay, but they're not on crepe myrtle yet. So if you want to just prevent the aphids from even happening this year, come out here. Let's talk about a few different options we can use for you for a little bit more stout of a chemical to kind of get rid of those.
We really like organics, but they're not always quite effective enough to treat every different situation.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. But we try to go down that list first and then go, well, you're down here. So you need to take a little stronger action, particularly given the criteria that's put forth in the question.
Yeah. You know, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, we were out on the lot, and Austin was like, y'all come here. And there were ladybugs eating a ton of aphids on a plant.
It's
and
amazing how many they can eat.
And I made a little video that's up on the Gardening Inside Out page, but yeah, they will just chomp down on them like little Skittles for them.
It was great.
Like
They were
little treats.
just picking them up and like walking around.
Yeah,
It's like,
one picked up one and ran away.
and ate it somewhere else. Yeah,
It was like, I'm out of here.
But the thing is that even those great bugs that we have, like ladybugs, that are helpful with that. I mean, we had 2 ladybugs on that, and probably what would y'all say, 200 aphids
It was a lot
at
of aphids.
least.
And
So,
the aphids will be gone in no time. I mean, it's you think that they only eat a little bit. By the way, ladybugs are beetles. By the way,
Which one?
lady beetles. They're just lady beetles. There's a whole lot of different kinds of lady beetles that exist. So anyway, it's just
so cute.
just a fun fact.
Yeah, just
they're
a fun
cute.
little fact.
Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Earth Mix, featuring Garden Premium Topsoil Blend. This essential mix includes Tennessee subsoil, supernatural organic compost, humic acid, and mycorrhizal fungi to create a truly living soil. Garden topsoil is perfect for establishing raised, edible, and ornamental garden beds, as well as for planting trees, shrubs, and other landscape plants. Bulk and super sack options available. Visit earthmix.net to discover their entire line of soils and amendments and helpful blog posts. Success begins at the ground level when you use EarthMix garden products.
You know what else is wonderful?
What else?
Whatever this guy's going to talk about.
Oh, what's wonderful.
What's in bloom with Austin?
Thanks, Tyler. You sounded just like the button. You're the one that made the button happen, so it's great.
He did. Tyler makes all the
It just
buttons
doesn't
happen.
have natural reverb in his voice.
Yeah.
That's the.
What?
That's the deal.
I can't back myself 5 times over.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, you know what, guys? I decided to do something different today, all right?
What?
I can't think about anything else because I mainly deal with the roses here, and this week is Rose Peak Week, people. So I don't even look at anything else that's in bloom because roses are the showstopper.
They are distracting.
They are distracting. Y'all, there's no other plant that when it's in bloom, you just have to stop and smell the rose. Okay, you can walk right by geraniums, begonias, petunias. You can be like, oh, those are beautiful, and keep on walking. You walk by a rose and it's in bloom, and you stop.
Your
And
nose
you
has to
smell
go
it.
to it.
You go to it, you smell it, you just make noises. You don't even know you know. It doesn't even matter. There's so many roses out there that are fantastic. And I think, and I was thinking last night, I was thinking that you got that spot in your bed, okay? It's a sunny spot. It's just one. You can't have anything huge. But, a lot of plants, especially for me, a lot of plants you can't just use one. One just looks, whatever. Like if it's hydrangea, you need 3. You need 5. You need it in a massing, a grouping, or whatever. But you got that one spot in the garden for one singular plant. One rose will do you, okay? You can go to a person's garden, you can look around at everything they've got, and you find that one standalone rose that is blooming in the corner, and you will find your way to that rose, and it's just one, okay? Now, I'm not saying you can't mass up roses, all right? That's fantastic, too. But if you got that one spot, think about a rose. Y'all, we've got the best selection of roses we're going to have all year. Hybrid teas, floribundas, grandiflors, climbers. Climbers have been really popular this year. People really want to grow those climbing roses. And roses to this point have been super clean, which is fantastic. The first flush of rose is the best you're ever going to see. We have not seen bugs quite yet, but I will predict they're probably coming this week or next. We haven't seen a ton of black spot fungus yet, but that will come too. Now, I'm not saying, y'all, that roses are just a set it and forget it type of plant. That's not what you do with the rose, okay? You got to treat her right, all right? You got to give her what she needs. You got to feed her in the spring, for sure. I don't know why I'm saying her. Like, roses can be guys too, but to me, they're pretty ladies. All right, but we got to give them what they need, and we can't always expect perfection unless we're going to put in some work. Okay.
And to the point you were talking about there, Austin, I think it's worth kind of reiterating a bit is that roses are not just one thing. There are types that stay like the drift roses. That's what Renee has in her bed out front. They stay very close to the ground, and then there's everything in between, all the way up to the climbers that get quite tall. So it's not it's not a one-size-fits-all. If you've got a specific application, a specific area that has whatever the limitations are, chances are there is a rose that will do well in that spot.
Yes, most definitely. We even got tree form roses now, which you see in the corners that we brought in yesterday. Like, they can be up on a tree form. So there's any kind of rose for your scenario. The biggest thing you need to know is it needs a sunny location. Y'all, 6+ hours a day is really recommended to get the best performance with roses. Don't try to grow them in the shade. Just really don't. It's not worth it. If you got a shady spot, plenty of other things for that.
They'll grow in the shade, but they won't bloom.
They don't bloom all that great, okay? But anyway, before I leave, we'll talk about 4 of my favorite colors out there, and my favorite particular roses for that one, okay? So if you want to grow a pink rose, try out Tiffany. She's pretty.
When
She's soft and pink.
Austin almost lost it.
It was incredible. It's a very tall, bushy hybrid tea plant, and it's a soft pink that has a high petal count, high fragrance. Tiffany is fantastic if you love
Tiffany
pink.
is appropriate to call Tiffany she.
That's right. Okay, let's move on to yellow. I'm a sucker for yellow roses. They are phenomenal. Oh, you can't beat them. Best yellow rose on the market, if you ask me, is Henry Fonda. Okay,
And that's he.
That's a he. And he's great. He is clean yellow, as perfect yellow as there is. They go quick when they get here. I think they're all gone.
He's a good rose.
But that is a beautiful rose, huh?
He's a good rose.
Yeah, he is a good rose. And then let's go to a pure white. Why not? My favorite pure white rose that we have is called Sugar Moon. Oh. Baby. Clean, crisp, white roses, high petal count again. And for a white rose, it's got great fragrance. You don't see that very often with whites, okay? Sugar Moon. What a great plant. We've got some beauties in right now, just about to pop, probably today or tomorrow. And then let's go to our classic red rose that everybody thinks of. My favorite red rose on the market is actually a floribunda. Hence the name, abundance of flora. A lot of flowers on the same stem, y'all. My favorite. Showbiz.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't that be my favorite? That is the cleanest, most electric red on the planet. I sold the last 2 that we had on the lot yesterday to a lady that was ecstatic to see these. She just couldn't believe we had them, and they were in full show for her to see that red. She was giddy with excitement.
So are you saying we're out of showbiz?
I'm saying we're out of showbiz.
So all right,
we're out of my favorites.
So give those who are listening an alternate red, since we don't have that. What could they go with? Do we have Mr. Lincoln?
Oh, Mr. Lincoln's popping. It actually popped a few days ago, so it was full show just a few days ago. But y'all, Mr. Lincoln is the most truest rose-smelling rose I have ever smelled. Yeah. And it's fantastic. It works all the way from true red going into a magenta kind of color later on when it finishes. But y'all, colors change with roses throughout the day, throughout what the sunlight's doing. It's incredible. Come out, please, and look at our roses.
And Mr. Lincoln is a he, by the way.
That's right. And y'all, don't be scared of roses. Don't be scared. Be excited.
You can't have them if you don't have them.
That's right.
That's true.
Come get them. Please come look at our roses. We did a great display the other day. That was
really
money. It's a beautiful rose display with boxwood in there, of course, because we classy. Come see it, please. Please come see it. Thank you. Thank you, Tyler.
Whew. Whoa.
There we go. Roses.
Take a breath.
Yes.
Wow.
All right.
Absolutely amazing.
And it is Derby Day, so it has to be.
There you go.
It's a run for the rose.
To run to Bates to get your nursery.
Yes, please.
Yes.
All right. Well, we do have some live questions in, so let's go ahead and start those. So Debbie is asking, I'm looking for a chartreuse perennial to complement a small burgundy leaf Japanese maple. midday, and late afternoon sun.
You know what I bet would do really well there if you're okay with something getting a little bit big?
I know what you're saying.
Sun King Aurelia. One of my favorites, y'all. And it can handle some of that afternoon sun. It's been more of, I mean, it can definitely handle some shade, but it can take some of that sun later on in the day as long as you keep it moist, okay? This was like the perennial plant of the year in 2020, I believe. And Sun King Aurelia is a beefy plant. It'll get large. You talk about chartreuse foliage. It's phenomenal.
It is incredible.
Yeah, it comes back from the roots every year. It does not come back from those sticks. Those sticks are hideous over the winter, y'all. I mean, just awful. So you cut those back, but then new stuff comes up from the ground, and mine is poking probably 2 foot already from the dirt.
And they'll get, 5 to 6?
5 to 6. Mine do at the end of the season. They don't always get that. It depends on where it's at. But
Yours get so much bigger than mine.
well, they're just so, they love that spot they're in.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
they're just
really
happy
in a
there.
great spot. So that one would certainly be cool for chartreuse foliage.
Mhm. I think that's the only one.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. That's the one you've got to go with.
Please get
because Austin said get it.
Mm-hmm.
You have some good photos of it, which you'll have to dig out of your phone down somewhere that we'll show one day.
All right.
We don't know if photos are going to happen today. But that's
We don't know. There's a lot going on.
We'll see.
Tyler is nailing everything today. He's killing it.
It's okay.
So Helen is asking, I recently planted a Blagan maidenhair ginkgo tree that I purchased at Bates Nursery on kind of a whim. I'm considering getting a second one. Do you have thoughts on this tree?
First off, Blagon is a cultivar of a ginkgo biloba, which if you're not growing a ginkgo, you're not doing it right. You got to have at least one.
Well,
I mean,
shaming people.
yeah, I'm not shaming. I'm just saying everybody needs a ginkgo in their life. It's
I do.
Caroline.
I do. I
Okay.
forgot I had one.
All right.
I just haven't planted it yet.
I was about to scold you. But anyway, this cultivar supposedly reaches about 15 feet tall, about 8 feet wide. So it's a very much pyramidal growing. And this was also found by a guy out at Isley Nursery, somewhere in France, I believe, is where this one came out with. And it's a beautiful little plant that has, as long as you've got space for a 15-foot tall tree. And when I say 15 foot tall, it will probably exceed that, y'all, with age. But ginkgos are naturally very slow. But the leaf shape of a ginkgo is just phenomenal. And then what do you see in the fall? Oh, only the best yellow color in nature.
You got it.
So, like, you're thinking about another one? Just do it. I mean, if you
The
don't
greatest
think
thing about the ginkgos is when the leaves, you get the color, and then they all drop at the same time, and you're done cleaning up.
And you can almost stand there and watch the entire tree defoliate. I mean, before your
Amazing.
eyes. It's
Yes.
just like, okay, it's time. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
There's a cool one out there right now. I noticed another one's it's got a really tiny little leaf on it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know which one I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
that's another kind of dwarf from Isley. And our ginkgo game, you talk about our rose game right now that's money. Our ginkgo game is phenomenal, too. I mean, like, I don't know, probably 8 to 10 different cultivars of just ginkgo alone. And you know what's cool about ginkgo is that there is not another species of that plant. Ginkgo biloba. Biloba is the sole species in the whole genus. Yo, that's cool. There is no other species out there. So I'm just a massive fan of ginkgos. Can live through anything. No pest pressure whatsoever. Hardly any pathogens that really get on ginkgo. It's the cleanest little tree. And it's a deciduous conifer, which is really weird, too. You don't even think about that
They
at all.
don't
But
look
it
like a
technically
conifer.
is.
You know?
It doesn't, but it is technically. Very old plant. Y'all, I could go on, but I'm not going to.
Ancient.
It may be.
Ancient.
It may be the oldest surviving species that we
On the planet, maybe.
Yes, on the planet.
Yeah, like seriously. So that's
I
cool.
lived through the dinosaur thing and everything like that.
There are those who believe that ginkgos actually killed the dinosaurs. I don't know who they are, but there's some.
So I think what we're saying is yes, you should get another one and plant it.
Come on, get it.
All that passion right there. That's your answer.
Yep.
And then Patricia is asking, how do you protect roses from deer?
You're gonna have to put something around it. Probably.
TWRA's got rules.
But yeah, a deer will come in and take a bloom, just like it'll just see it. Just
If they would only stop at a bloom, it would be nice. But they're eaters. So you almost need to provide something that's a distraction and alternate source for deer, not just for protection against roses, but for all the things. So if you can maybe give some salt blocks to your neighbors.
Yeah, there you go.
Down the street.
At the back of their property to give them something to pull them in. It's totally legal, thing, and
It's
maybe,
good for them, actually.
Yes, it is.
Mineral blocks, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing I've heard from a customer, they said they worked pretty well was using fishing line, kind of away from whatever plant you're trying to protect, like stringing that up, because they don't see it until it hits them or they walk right into it, and it
freaks
scares
them out.
Freaks them out a little, they might go away. So. Maybe you could try that. That could be helpful.
Yeah, I would get tangled in it because I forget I put it there.
There are those who
Which would be
stand in the
hilarious.
yard with an air horn.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of patience to
It
do
does.
that. Just to stand out there.
And wait for it.
Maybe a motion detected air horn would be appropriate.
Oh, then again, you probably scare yourself.
Yeah, you wake up at 2 in the morning with,
Yeah.
And then we have another deer question. Good low light plants that deer will not devour.
I've got one right off the rip, and that's hellebore.
yeah.
Deer do
Oh,
not
yeah.
eat hellebore. This comes from Julie Patterson, who orders all the plants for us that are outside on the lot and all over the place, really. Julie's great. Shout out, Jules. Hope you're doing well today. But she uses hellebore and has for the past 25 years, and she has a massive deer problem. She's out in Hendersonville, and if y'all know, terrible out there. They had never touched her hellebore.
One other plant that comes to mind that's pretty shade tolerant, it's an azalea, is Puccinense or Puccinense compacta azalea, which is a kind of a lavender purple flowering azalea. The commonality between hellebore and that plant is that they have this fragrance that deer do not like. So much of the key to finding things that deer won't eat is to something that has a scent that they find offensive. So they won't touch either one of those. The wonderful Duncan Caldecott, who was a wonderful friend for a lot of years, he showed me in his own garden where he had beds of azaleas with Puccinense compacta mixed in between. They would chew the other azaleas to the ground and never touch those. So I've seen it.
That is so interesting.
And Amy says they don't like the smell of the Lorganite.
Who does?
Oh,
Bring that smell.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, from the
Bowels of Milwaukee.
literally. Literally. So,
Think about it, folks.
Yeah. You know, some say there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. But we say Bates Nursery is. Located in Nashville, Tennessee, Bates Nursery and Garden Center is a separate world unto itself. They feature the widest variety of plants, including trees, shrubs, native plants, perennials, houseplants, and specimen evergreens. Their knowledgeable staff will assist you with any gardening needs, catering to any experience level. Open year-round, and Caroline, tell them how to get here.
Bates Nursery is located minutes from downtown Nashville off Briley Parkway, exit 19 in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee. You'll see it's worth the drive from anywhere. No time to visit the nursery? Shop online with delivery and pickup options available for the greater Middle Tennessee area at www.batesnursery.com.
So if you want to learn a lot about living and a little about love, visit Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
hostas and heuchera that are both they're great examples of how great colorful foliage adds to the landscape. It didn't have to have flowers.
Yeah.
I mean, now they both technically do bloom, but that's not the showy part of them.
No,
So,
it's the
which,
leaves.
Caroline, in your estimation, is the greater of the two?
The leaves. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about of the two.
Oh, I
That's a
don't
tough
know.
one. That's a
I don't
tough-
know. This time of year, I would say hosta, but year round, I'd say heuchera.
Heuchera for me,
Like
yeah.
a lot of my heuchera stays up and looks great. Like the watermelon carnival that I already talked about. To me, that's the one that performs the best, and I have a lot of them. Y'all, through the winter, it's clean. It even will grow a little bit. It doesn't die back at all. It's something else. But that's why, and we have a question about, besides hosta, what recommendations do you have to mix into a perennial shade bed with hosta? That's why I've got my hosta and my heuchera all planted together, because in the winter, as the hosta goes dormant, my heuchera is up, and then you can see it even more.
Right.
Because right now, some of them are starting to get a little bit covered by the hosta, which is fine for them. They love shade, so they're okay with that. But yeah, then, like I said, it dies back. The heuchera is showing off, and it's time to shine. So those are great shade perennials.
Hey, Tyler.
Yeah. Well, let's get to a couple more questions
Okay.
because
I'll set up now.
we have so many. Advice on lilac pruning. I would like to keep some of the height, but it's gotten too big.
Well, if it's gotten too big, I guess we have to shorten it a little bit. I mean, don't go too far, obviously, but now's the time to do it. They've pretty much finished up blooming, and that's when we recommend to prune lilac. So now's the time. So, just find that spot where you want it to be and then prune it all uniform, across the top of the shrub. And then if it's gotten too wide, you can certainly just take side shoots off. If it is too wide, just take the whole shoot, the whole stem back to the main stem, okay? Like when you're top pruning, you're going to shorten a little bit, but keep the sticks. If it's too wide, take the whole stick that's going out too wide. Because if you just tip prune that a little bit, it's coming right. It's going to be just as wide again. So
Going
that
right
makes
back
sense.
out.
And
That
for
does
people
make
who are
sense.
trimming any kind of a deciduous flowering shrub, after it flowers, you trim it as hard as you want to.
Pretty
That's
much.
the time to do it.
Mhm.
The mistake that people make a lot of times is let it grow all summer and then do it, and then they wonder why it didn't flower the next year. And
Oh.
there's a connection there.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
there is. There's a time to prune everything. And then Mary is asking, I recently found an oak tree seedling and potted it to see what it would do. I don't know much about oak trees other than they get huge. Can I keep it in a pot? At what size do I need to put it in the ground?
You can put it in the ground pretty much at any size if you wanted to, but it is fun to grow a little oak tree in a pot for a while, okay? Just make sure your pot's a little bit tall. Oak trees do have kind of that taproot that really goes down kind of far, so if you know.
And you're less likely to mow over it if it's in a pot.
Exactly, yeah.
So when it's really small, you're going to have to take some special measures to keep it visible so you don't whack it.
Be patient. Be very patient.
They are slow. They're a very long-lived plant. Oak trees in general are very long-lived, but they also are very slow to get big. But a great little potted plant to grow for a few years. They're fun.
Yeah, and then you can watch all of its growth.
Mhm.
And then Miriam is asking, besides
Miriam.
Hi,
deadheading-
Miriam.
Good morning,
Miriam.
Miriam. How can I keep my clematis blooming?
Well, it's going to have its bloom time. I mean, you can't just keep it. Once it goes through phases. I mean, so they're probably blooming right now, and it's going to be blooming for a little while longer. But then after that, after you deadhead, you might see another flush a little bit later. But Miriam, I mean, a lot of times every plant kind of has their bloom time, and a lot of things don't rebloom all that much. And clematis will a little bit, but there's nothing really you can do, honestly, besides what you're doing, which is deadheading, to kind of see a rebloom.
A rebloom.
Yeah.
And speaking of clematis, we got a piece of mail. It's called fan mail. So on our podcast, you have the option.
Yeah.
While you're listening, as long as you're not driving, you can hit a button that says fan mail.
And I
with
saw that yesterday. It was awesome.
It allows you to send questions, comments, or anything to the podcast on whatever platform you listen to.
Oh,
I'm not sure if
cool.
it's available on YouTube, but it is available on everything else. So Tracy is saying she is in White House. I was just listening to the latest podcast where Caroline was lamenting about her dying clematis, which my clematis has died once again. I said I thought it was one of my pets that stepped on it. And she said, I just wanted to share that I struggled with my clematis for 2 years until I realized my cat was walking on it and using that spot in the flower bed as a litter box. I put a triangular obelisk over the base of the clematis, which protects it and allows it to climb. It's stunning now. Just wanted to share. Love your show. Keep up the good work.
Well, thank
So
you.
thank you.
That's super
It's
sweet.
nice to know that somebody else has been there with me because I have tried 3 now and they just...
Well, and
Gotta have an obelisk.
Those physical things that happen with clematis it happens a lot. It's because clematis breaks super easy, y'all. And if it has one little break in the stem, wherever it may be, you'll see the rest of the plant go. I mean, so don't give up on clematis just because it can be sometimes finding that right perfect spot's a little tricky. But those physical things that happen is just part of gardening around here. I had to wake up this morning to a chicken on top of one of my petunias. There's only 17 petunias planted in a row, perfectly. And then it decides to lay and scratch and peck on one.
Whose chicken was it?
My chicken.
Okay.
It's
And
already happening.
I don't
It's
want
so
it
early,
anymore.
too.
Anybody want a chicken? I'll give it to you for free. Well, I said no.
What's
my
his
wife.
name? Or what's her name?
Her name? I don't remember. Jill knows all the names. I can never remember. She'll name them and she'll be like, no, that was that one. I'm like, okay, which one's
You're
that
like,
one?
I
I
have
don't
no
remember.
idea.
I'm just mad at that one right now because she's probably the prettiest chicken too. But she was just flopping on top of that petunia. No, I'm not doing that again. But that's what it looked like. And now I got
Put some
one
little-
stupid petunia.
Stick some little pokey things in the ground, like
That's a
pieces
good
of
point.
wire.
Oh.
I'm
that's
Plastic
a good idea.
forks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that on top of your misty lilac?
Yes, Caroline. And it was the
Oh.
very first one I planted in the row. I'm
So
sorry.
sassy.
I'm sorry. I'm
You're
mad.
gonna hurt my feet.
I'm sorry. I'm mad. Don't get your feelings hurt.
And his voice really comes up like 20 decibels.
It is insane.
Oh, why just that one?
Oh,
There's Tyler's music.
What did I wake up to this morning? Chicken on the tunias. Okay.
So I guess we're wrapping up the show. It sounds like.
Gotta stop on that one. That's
Tyler's doing good over
very
there.
good.
Well, it's been another great program, and we appreciate all the questions, all the interaction, and being patient
Yes.
to endure our difficulties we've had today. that's what life is about, is enduring the difficulties and working your way through the best way you can. We thank you for tuning in today.
Yes, we do. Absolutely. And if you're out there, you can listen to us anytime on podcast. I mean,
yes.
Anywhere it is, it's going to be out there.
Yeah, these three over here, they do that whole podcast
They
thing
do a
every week.
great job, too.
Awesome job. So check it out.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you for tuning in again. Hopefully, see you again soon here on Gardening Inside Out.
So like, subscribe, share.
Yeah.
Come out to the
Tell
nursery.
people about it.
Yes.
Come smell the roses with me today.
Yes.
We'll sniff every
Do
one
it.
of them. I don't care.
Come on out.
We're doing it.
Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.